Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. How you doing out there? I'm going to pull up my Facebook page so I can kind of communicate with those of you out there. Cool. Yeah. For some reason, it loves to turn the volume on. Cool. Welcome to Red Rebel Media Small Business Town Hall. My name is Mike Semrod, your host. I own Red Rebel Media here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I hope everybody's feeling good. I started this idea to kind of shed some light on local business and how they're handling the pandemic, and it's kind of blossomed into some really cool online streams and interviews. So I hope you're enjoying it. Give me a shout out and say you're with us and you're watching. I can see your comments and I will respond. But this morning I'm going to invite a friend of mine on who's a local. He works for a local business owner. He's actually an employee of a mutual friend of ours who used to own a music store. So we met him that way. But his name is Matt Lehnert. He's with Concorde Management, downtown Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'm curious how his life has been. So I'm going to invite him on, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt Lehnert. What's up, Matt?
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's good.
Good.
One more week in the books, right?
Yeah, man, no doubt. We're crawling through this thing, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. It doesn't. I don't know. It's a wacky world. And the thing I fear most is that they shut businesses down again. And that's. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's hard to wrap your mind around really media sources too. That's been the biggest struggle for me, is to kind of, what do you believe? It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's just difficult to figure out what to believe. So I'm just trying to do the best I can, I guess. And that's all we can do. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Matt. You have a pretty extensive background in not only being a great person, but helping other people. I met you. You're a part of the KZUM board. That's how I met you. And no, I actually met you through some mutual musician friends. You're a musician. You're in a band. You're all these cool things. So tell us about yourself, man.
I'll try and make it super condensed for us. I am a native Nebraskan. I grew up in Ainsworth, Nebraska.
Okay.
If anyone's not familiar, if you go to Valentine and then find O'Neill, we're going to be right in the middle on Highway 20 there, so up in the Sandhills. I'm a UNL graduate. I moved to Lincoln for college in 1996 after I graduated, and have made my home here ever since. So most of my professional career was spent at the Duto stores, so Chevy and the Subaru store. And for 12 years, I was a finance manager there. Last year in May, I made the jump into real estate, specifically commercial real estate, and am now a licensed real estate agent in the state of Nebraska as of May of 2019. So kind of a new venture. I love it. You kind of alluded on, who I work for and where I work, and really couldn't ask for a better situation. But obviously, that industry, along with about everything else, is being affected by our times at the moment. So happy to be here, and hopefully I can provide at least some coherent feedback for you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here as well. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up the Concorde website real fast, because I think the business itself is really interesting. So is it predominantly commercial property?
So yeah, probably the best way to explain our business is three facets. The parent company, as you can see on the website, there is Concorde Management Development. The real estate arm that I work for, we DBA as Concorde Real Estate Advisors. So one of those three arms obviously is commercial real estate. That's mostly what I do on a daily basis. And that would be effectively buying and selling, helping people buy and sell commercial real estate. But more often it's commercial leasing. So if you're a property owner who has a space that needs to get filled, or you're a small business owner who needs to find a space to lease, we do both representation of landlord and tenant. So it's not just buying and selling, 10-story buildings or 10,000 square foot warehouses, that's for sure. Second part of our business is property management. We have 3 dedicated property managers on staff, and I believe we're upwards of 1,200 units currently under management. So if you're a multifamily property owner, whether that's a small duplex or all the way up to a 40-plex apartment building, you can hire us to manage those properties. And essentially we're your go-between, we're your buffer. So any maintenance calls, collecting the rent, dealing with late rent. In the worst case, you have to deal with an eviction. We handle all that for that property owner. And then we essentially just send him his proceeds check every month. So,
wow.
Yep.
That's a lot of dirty work there.
Pretty hands off. Yep. If you're a multifamily property owner. And then lastly, we also have a construction wing called Blue Rock. And that's just nice because there are many times that someone needs a space modified that we may lease or sell. We can actually come in and do ground up construction, remodels, build outs, all those kind of things with the construction wing as well.
Very cool. So yeah, that's a very interesting world. So you're doing a lot of things in a lot of different directions there. So how old is Concorde Management and how did it start?
Yeah, so Concorde itself, it did have another entity before that, but I believe I will speak outside of my realm of knowledge if I can go into that. But Concorde Management itself was created in 1985. Founder of the company is David Schmidt, and then the 2 co-owners currently are David's son Dana, and then my direct supervisor, which is Aaron Fenton. He's the managing broker on the real estate side.
Okay. Nice. That was a lovely ding. I'm not sure where that came from.
I believe that was my phone. That's a good reminder to put it on silent.
Oh yeah. No, that's okay. I thought it might have been something. Sound like someone left a hot pocket in the microwave.
As long as it's a breakfast hot pocket, I'm probably in.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. So you've got quite a few employees here. That's Dana's dad, right? Correct?
No, actually, you kind of went by him.
Oh, did I go by him?
Yep, you're looking for David Schmidt. Keep going.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So David was the founder of the company and is essentially semi-retired now. He's still an associate broker, as you can see by the title there, and okay. I think he has kind of a harder time letting it go a little bit. He's done it for so many years that we still see him probably 3 times a week down at the office. But
oh, that's cool. Nice.
Obviously, just a wealth of knowledge. That's great to have him still active with the
no
business.
Doubt.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you're located. The main office is downtown on Ocean.
It is, yeah. So we are in the Lincoln Flats building, which would be on the north side of 13th and O Street. For reference, if you kind of stand at the Walgreens and look across the street to the right, you'll see us there. That building was purchased, I want to say, about 3 years ago. It was an old bank on the first floor. So very, very cool repurposed office space. We have a 5-story atrium in our lobby. And then we actually converted the old vault into office space as well. So pretty cool there. The 4 floors, I believe, above that were then developed into privately owned condos and have been sold out privately. So that was actually one of Concorde's projects as well, was to develop that space and take over the office space on the first floor and develop for residential above us.
Nice. Very nice. It's a beautiful spot. Hold on just a second. I'm going to make sure I don't lose you. I need to switch my internet. It keeps jumping to a different one. Hold on. Second. There we go. So that's better. Yeah, I just recently switched over to Allo, which has been an interesting experience for internet. So yeah. Cool. Well, if anybody's looking for a place to rent or buy, this is probably a good place to go. Right?
Yeah, it really is. We're any any of our apartments that are available, you can find on our website there. And again, for those of you who can't see, it's just Concorde MGMT, short for management.com. So yeah, available apartments that we manage are going to be up on there. Commercial spaces, we're linked to a website directly called mrcie.org, which is where all our commercial listings are. And those update in real time is my understanding. So anytime one gets posted up to the commercial site and or made available on there, it should be up there very quickly. It's worth mentioning, we also, if anybody out there is looking for residential real estate services, we can do that as well. Effectively, the same license allows you to do everything in the state of Nebraska. But again, the main focus of the business is commercial real estate.
Gotcha. Fantastic. Well, I met Aaron, and I know Aaron, his father, and correct me if I'm wrong, granddad started Dietz Music, or not started, but took it over from the original owner.
Yeah, if I remember the story correctly, I want to say Aaron's grandfather purchased it. Mm-hmm. Not shortly after it was started by August Dietz. Yeah.
Right. So, so Aaron's been around downtown since he was, before he was born. So his father's owned a business downtown and been in that world. So I'm sure he learned a ton from that. It'd be interesting to ask him at some point. I'd love to find out his lineage of how he got into real estate, but I don't want to talk about Aaron, but maybe we can have him join the show someday. But he's a fantastic guy. And I've been buying musical instruments and gear from him for seemingly hundreds of years.
Far too many years and far too many items, probably.
That's absolutely between you and me. Matt has a mutual obsession with buying gear and loving musical equipment like I do. So we get into trouble with our wives and lives. But this is a fantastic company. If you need any more information, jump on here and check out Concorde. But today I want to talk about, obviously we live in extremely bizarre times. There's like a lot of aggression towards one another. There's a lot of paranoia towards one another. And it's all valid. I mean, all these things there's a reason for it, right? And everybody feels a certain way. And, a lot of planets align with a lot of issues in our community. And, it's been hard to navigate. But I want to know, what has been your experience, and tell us about what happened so you're starting a new career kind of in the midst of this. I mean, you've been with Concorde for a while, but not for too long. So all of a sudden a pandemic hits. What do you do?
We kind of did what everybody else did, I would assume. And that's just kind of do our best on a daily basis. We did decide to shut down right after, I want to say, when was that, Mike? Middle of March, when everything kind of hit here locally, and everybody, got pretty concerned. So the blessing probably is there's not much that I can't do with a scanner and a computer at this point. So, great resources like that and DocuSign and anything that I would need to do on paper can be done electronically. So for about a month, I sat here in my basement and set up kind of a makeshift office, and luckily had the forethought before they were all sold out, and went and bought a decent kind of small office printer and scanner. And I just kind of conducted business with a cell phone and a computer at that point.
Wow.
And as far as how business went, we did see things slow down for, I'm going to say, that same 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. Luckily we're a small office. We were all essentially quarantining ourselves, not a whole lot of contact with other people. So we did start to come back in shifts, and now for the most part are back at work on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, it's very nice to have that capability to be able to do stuff via Zoom, via the internet, and do it that way. As far as where we're at right now, as busy as we've ever been, and again, that's based upon my 12 months worth of experience. The only thing that we are seeing a little bit downtick in is interest in office space. And of course, the reason for that is pretty obvious. So my wife is a good example. She is an account manager for Fax Education, which is a Nelnet company. And their at-home work status went well enough, they decided to give up their office space. So, I will probably anticipate seeing a fair amount of office space being available in the next 6 to 12 months. And it'll be interesting to see, if property owners decide to repurpose that and where that space goes.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, so many things. I can't imagine how many lives have been uprooted within all this, and and how many businesses have just decided to fold. So I would imagine that has a huge effect on real estate, and how many places that's going to trickle down and affect your company as well. And and I've seen it affect my company already. And sometimes for the better. I've had a lot of new clients like in the midst of this as well. So I'm very, very thankful that I can survive as a business and still maintain what I do. So, but yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting to hear the numbers of kind of, what you guys, how you're going to anticipate that.
Yeah, and on a positive note, and I say positive in a general industry sense, because it's not lost on me that some of these spaces and these businesses that did have to fold, did not make it through the 3 months of essentially shut down. That obviously has an effect on them personally and their family and their finances, and in some way an effect on obviously the local community and the economy. But it is going to present an opportunity for some other folks who have had that dream of a new retail store or a new restaurant or something like that. So, unfortunately, the folks and the businesses that we will lose, and it's inevitable, I'm sure, it is going to open the door for some other folks to bring new business and new ideas to downtown or anywhere in Lincoln effectively.
Right. Well, I hope that upswing happens, and it happens soon.
It is already. I'm very close to putting ink on paper for a new Mexican restaurant in Northeast Lincoln. Just signed a lease a couple weeks ago for a new retail store just a block away from us on 14th and O Street.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, people are seizing the opportunity and moving forward with some of these spaces that are becoming available. So yeah, as long as the trend continues, obviously, and those folks are able to make a go of it with their new business.
That's awesome. That's optimistic to hear. I think that I want all of this to get better before it gets worse, but I feel like there's certain things we have to do in order to do that. And and being conscious and responsible and doing things the right way, I think is the only way. And I try not to make this show political, but it's really difficult in this climate not to get political and mention your feelings on stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm happy to hear businesses are growing and thriving and starting.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that some of that stuff has become political because there's opinions, but there's also black and white, in my opinion. As much sense as that probably doesn't make, but to me, it never hurts to err on the side of caution, right?
Right.
If you're on the fence about the status of something, boy, go with the safe bet at this point. And if you're wrong, what did you lose? Nothing.
Right.
But if you were right and are doing the right things, you're helping to solve the problem. So.
Well, yeah, you and I are both fathers, and the looming question is what are schools going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, we basically became Mr. Moms. I did, working from home, and my wife, she, as works for a radio station that needs her all the time. So especially in the midst of a pandemic, she's been going to work. So it's a small staff, and they're distance and they feel safe within their workspace. But yeah, it's so I've been kind of doing the Mr. Mom thing here. So, and I know you have too. How's that going?
I will take no credit that I'm not deserved, and
of course,
for the last,
your wife is at home too. Yeah.
Yeah, And she's picking up a lot of that slack. God bless her. So
Yeah.
I know better than to try and snag any of that credit. So
Yeah.
we did unfortunately just last night have a longboarding accident. So we get
Oh
to
no.
yeah, we're in a splint right now. We get to go get a cast on Tuesday. So
Oh no. Last time I saw her, she was just getting that gift of the longboard. Oh no,
yep.
that's too bad.
Well, the pragmatic thing from her yesterday was, I kind of expected this. When I got this, I expected I'd probably get hurt at some point. So
Oh wow. Well,
she's handling it pretty well.
living is learning, man. That's wow, interesting. Well, that's yeah. So talk about your other ventures. So you're on the board of a nonprofit. How many boards are you on? Because I feel at one point you were on multiple.
No, just the one, and I've only been on the one. I did have the opportunity when I was working at Duteau, just simply because Duteau is a longtime supporter of the Lincoln Children's Zoo, to be on that board. So similar to what I'm doing now, those are 2 3-year terms. So I did spend 6 years on the board of directors for the Lincoln Children's Zoo. Near and dear to my heart. I'm so excited to see all the stuff that they've presented and debuted here in the last 12 months, and we're excited to go see the cheetahs at some point. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're expanding every time I drive by on 27th. There seems to be more progress. So what exactly, do you know anything about what's happening at the zoo on 27th there?
I don't. The thing
Okay.
that's still really kind of unknown to me, but I'm excited about, is the, I think, for lack of a better term, amphitheater that's going up
Yeah.
on Street there. So obviously, you and I, who have live musical acts, I think that'll be an exciting new place that we'll be able to play and obviously help contribute to that nonprofit as well.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I've been kind of peeking in on that, watching, more music venues, especially outdoor music venues are needed, man. I tell you what, that's awesome. That's really great to hear.
And
So
and quite frankly, just bravo and kudos to the city of Lincoln and anyone who supported that venture, because I was there when we decided to kind of make the leap with the big expansion that they did and the whole revamping of the space, and Lincoln really responded, I think, and so much so that there were funds available to do something like that. So
yeah.
it shows where the community's heart is at. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We're seeing a lot of that. So yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned that you're in a band. It's these are wild times for that. I'm trying to do some streaming, trying to do some live performances on the back of a bicycle, trying to do, a few vineyards here and there, distanced, and being very conscious and responsible about where I'm at and who I'm around, and I hope everybody else is as well. So yeah, it's an interesting experience, dealing with all that as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
and it's a learn as we go. I mean, we're 3 4 months into this, and not everything's figured out, and almost every day presents something new that we kind of have to tread through. So it's by far not an exact science at this point, right?
right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's no doubt. I've been stuck at home, in the midst of a remodel, kind of trying to remodel my office and my studio. So that's been interesting too, just to kind of, you know, have everything in shambles. It feels like your life is in shambles when something's in shambles like that you're living in. So yeah, just trying to deal with the stress of it all. Yeah, man, I think, uh, it's unavoidable in these times. So I hope you're navigating all that stress good.
Yeah,
So
I think we're doing okay. Um, and it's just, at the very least, we'll all be able to add multitasker to our resume when this is all done.
yeah,
Right?
no doubt. No, now let me ask you something. This is interesting, and I've talked to a few people about this, and with the groove of working at home, how many companies do you know of that will just stay that way? I mean, will you find yourself working from home now more, that you're used to it and you're kind of in this new groove, and or do you?
No, to me, there's still that benefit of being in the office. Mainly for me, just being at this since May of last year. having my broker, Aaron, readily available for questions and concerns that I have. So it's also nice to be there when the phone call comes in as well. Technology is great. If I get something sent over to my office phone, I get an email immediately that I have a voicemail, but there's something to be said about customer service actually answering the phone when someone calls. So I can still see myself going in most of the time. It's nice to have the option in case you have something going on at home or obviously a last second deal. But I still think we'll mostly be in the office. And again, we have the benefit of, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're less than 10 people maximum in a space at any one time. So that's different than having, a cube of 50, obviously in these times. So we're looking that way.
Nice. Well, there is. I do miss going into my office and being in that routine of life. Kind of, everybody, finds themselves in a normal, what seems to them as being normal routine. And I certainly had a normal routine every morning. And I miss that. Certain things I did in the morning, like going to get coffee and, breakfast or whatever here and there, going out in public, it's all, you just can't do. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Not in the same way I did before.
Right.
So it's definitely
and
changed.
The social responsibility of it too. Yeah. It's just,
it's certainly changed the
there's
life
something
routine.
to be said. There's something to be said though about closing a purchase or a lease in a concert t-shirt and some Nike athletic shorts. So
that is pretty awesome. Good for you. So has there been any clients that want more face-to-face, or how are you showing more things virtually? When you're trying to lease a space, are you doing any virtual walkthroughs, like streamed to their phone or live?
No, we really haven't. Most spaces that we're showing, and I will say, I just do a quick mental check here, but I will say any commercial space that I have available right now or that we go walk through is not occupied. So, we don't run the risk of entering a space and contaminating it and then the folks coming back to work there. So that's been beneficial. We just essentially have to worry about ourselves. I usually carry a messenger bag with hand sanitizer in it, and then I have a handful of disposable masks. And I just kind of take my cues from the clients. If that's something that they want to do, we have it available for them. And if it's not something, we just try and stay 6 feet apart. So little bit of experience on the residential side. Obviously, that's a little bit different because you're entering people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
People are kind of, again, making the rules as they go, but I think they're working really well. I've seen a lot of COVID showing instructions where they want everyone to sanitize before they go in. Everyone wears a face mask, and then they only want the agent to touch any hard surfaces. So if you wanted to look in a closet or open the basement door, you only have one person touching those hard surfaces, and they're responsible for making sure they have clean hands. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a workaround. It still allows us to do business and I think reasonably keep people safe at the same time.
I had a guy come over to my house the other day to look at my gutters. We're new homeowners, and all these things are new to me, so I'm learning as I go on what's important when you're a homeowner. Water in the basement, usually 95% is because your gutters. So okay, we better check the gutters then. I don't want water in the basement. So a guy comes over, and it was incredible. He comes up on the porch. His first thing out of his mouth, Matt, was, "So are we shaking hands or what?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "I think I'm good." You just never know. And I tried to pass it off as like, "You just never know." And he goes, "Yeah, well, you do. We don't go out if we're sick." And I was like, "Wow, this guy's aggressive." He's like, he's already like aggressive. So that was kind of bizarre. But anyway, proceeded to show me and tell me certain things about my gutters, and that was just kind of his demeanor. But he kept through the we're standing in my front yard, distanced and everything, and and he kept kind of creeping closer and closer to me all the time. So he's one of these guys, It's like, oh my goodness.
Well, I've come across a handful of people that again, it's almost second nature. If you're not thinking about it, you meet someone for the first time and you're conducting business, you're going to reach out. But I just try and have that hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Almost in a 6-gun holster on my side where I can grab it immediately and wash right up after that handshake. So
yeah, it's doable, but yeah, there is some people that just completely oblivious to anything. It's almost like they just woke up from a 5-month nap and they're just like, well, time to go to work.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it does actually. So, well, cool, man. I just wanted to bring you on and kind of introduce you to the Red Rebel community of people tuning into these crazy streams, and and have people reach out to you. You're a great guy. You're an honest guy. Use Matt as a realtor. Have him help you find a place to rent, to buy. These are all big moves in our lives, and it helps if you trust the person you're working with. So I think you're in a great business, man. I really feel like
one of the biggest transactions you'll make in your life. So you definitely want to make sure you're with the right folks. So
yeah, no doubt.
I appreciate it, sir. Well,
yeah, it's a good move. I'm really proud of you, and I know that when I met you, you were in the trenches of a certain career that you maybe didn't feel right. It was the right move, but I hope you feel this is the right move, because it does make sense for you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was where I worked was a great place to work and was a fantastic opportunity, but things run its course. And 12 years of 50 plus hours a week and every Saturday had run its course. So I feel very fortunate to have the opportunity that I had, and I am thoroughly enjoying real estate at this point.
Nice, man. Well, good for you. I'm happy to hear it's going well, and we'll keep in touch, of course. But I appreciate what you do for the community, and keep it up, man. I love it. I love it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Say hi to the fam. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Happy weekend, everybody.
Friend. You too. Bye-bye. All right, folks. That's Matt Lehnert from Concorde Management. Please reach out to him. You know what? We should probably find a good phone number for him. Hold on just a second. I should have put that on the screen. I do have an email address, but I can put it on the stream later. M. Lehnert, that's Lehnert, Lehnert with an H, at ConcordeMGMT.com. Reach out to Matt. Like I said, he will help you and he'll be honest. So if you're in a position to buy a home, or to if you're interested in renting a spot, even a business, if you're looking for a real estate spot, a commercial spot, get a hold of Matt. He will help you out. He's doing a great job for Concorde, and we just love him so much. So keep it up, man. All right, guys. Happy Friday. Be safe this weekend. Of course, like every weekend, be smart, be responsible, and I hope everybody's feeling good, and keep your spirits up. We can do it. So I'll be back next week. We do have some really fun guests coming on, so I'll tell you more about it later. But tune in. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.